Hey, it's Chandra with Piano at a Glance, and in this lesson, I'm going to be teaching you how to name all the notes on the piano. Mastering this skill is the first step in understanding music theory. And once you familiarize yourself with the keyboard, you'll be able to greatly improve your hand position and technique. And lastly, learning the layout of the keyboard makes reading music so much easier. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, before we start going over the names of the white keys, there are two things that I want to cover. First is the notes that we have in music. So the notes that are in music are the first 7 letters of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay, so once we get to G, this entire thing repeats, so we go right back to A. So those are the only letters in music that you're responsible for knowing, okay? The second thing is the layout of the keyboard. So we have a grouping of 2 black keys, followed by 3 black keys, then 2 black keys, and then 3 black keys. So that is something that repeats itself all throughout the keyboard. So keep those 2 things in mind as we move along to the first set of black keys here. So we want to find the 2 black keys that are directly in front of you. Okay, right here. And the first letter that I want to start with is the letter C. So when we find the 2 black keys, just to the left of the grouping of 2 black keys gives us our C. And the C that is right in front of us is also called middle C, okay? So after we found middle C, we'll go to the right, we'll find the next grouping of 2 black keys. There's another C, but it's higher in pitch. And so as we keep going higher up the keyboard, the pitch gets higher and appears your C, this last note, okay? And the same thing going down the keyboard. But the pitch gets lower when we go to the left. So the next note that I want to show you is the D. So the note D is found in between the grouping of 2 black keys. So we're going to go up here, and here. So you may want to pause the video so you can practice finding all of those notes. Okay, so now the next note is going to be E. And E is to the right of the grouping of 2 black keys. Okay? So one thing I wanted to mention before we move on is that so far, when we've started with C, we've been going in alphabetical order, going to the right. Okay, so keep that in mind as we go to this next part here. Okay, so now we're going to be discussing the section of 3 black keys. So our last key that we learned was E, so this key right here is going to be your F. So you find the grouping of 3 black keys, and just to the left of each grouping is your F. So the next letter in the alphabet after F is G. So we want to find the grouping of 3 black keys, and the middle left note is going to be your G. So the 2 left black keys, in the middle is your G. And so now we've reached the end of our musical alphabet, which means now we go back to A. So this white key right here is going to be our A. So we find our grouping of 3 black keys, and the right middle note is going to be our A. And of course down here, this is your low A, because this part, this note here is part of the grouping of 3 black keys. So this gives us our low A. And the next letter in the alphabet is going to be our B. So we have our 3 black keys, and just to the right of each grouping of 3 black keys gives us our B's. Now that we've identified all of the white keys, let's go ahead and talk about the black keys. So earlier in the video, I had mentioned that if we go to the right of the keyboard, that the pitch gets higher. So when we're talking about the black keys, when we go up the keyboard, all of our black keys become sharp notes. And if we go to the left, we're lowering the pitch now. And when we lower a pitch, the pitch becomes flat, or the black keys going to the left become flat, okay? So when we're dealing with the first 2 black keys, so we'll take a look at the grouping of 2, and I'm going to show you the sharp notes, okay? First, we're going to find C and go to the right, which means we're going to raise the pitch. So that next black key now becomes a C sharp. So we find C, the first black key to the left of the grouping of 2, there's our C sharp. Okay? So now if we look at the D, and we want to raise that pitch, we're going to go up to this note here, which is our D sharp. So next, we're moving on to the group of 3 black keys now. So if we find our F and we want to raise that pitch, we're going to go to the next black key to the right, which gives us F sharp. And we'll go to our G now. If we want to raise the pitch of G, that next black key is now a G sharp. And then we have our A. That last black key, the one to the right in the group of 3, is A sharp. Now, once we've identified the sharps, let's go back and identify the flats. So let's look at D for starters. So D, we now want we want to lower that pitch. So we're going to go to the left black key in the grouping of 2. So that C sharp has now become D flat. And we start on E here. If we want to lower that pitch, we go to E flat. So D sharp now becomes E flat. So when we want to name the flats for the grouping of 3 black keys, let's start with G. So we have our G note, and we want to lower the pitch of G, so we're going to go to the left. So F sharp has now become G flat. So the next white key, we're going to go to the A, and we want to lower that pitch. So when we go to the left, G sharp now becomes A flat. And the last note here is going to be our B. And we're going to flat our B, so this note here becomes a B flat. So now looking at the whole thing, we see that C sharp is the same as D flat. D sharp is the same note as E flat. F sharp the same as G flat. G sharp is the same as A flat. And A sharp is the same as B flat. So these notes are the same pitch, but depending on the direction you're going on the keyboard or what scale you're working on determines whether it's a sharp or a flat. Well, that's it for this lesson. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions or you would like me to cover a specific topic, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.